we go. Check this out. I was laying in bed about 3 months ago, and I got a terrible leg cramp on the calf of my right leg. And I've gotten many of these before throughout my life, but I can honestly say, no joking around, this was the worst one I ever had. This leg cramp was so bad, and it lasted for so long. I was in agony in bed, being tortured, and it was so bad I had to give up. I had to give up the fight. I had to give up anything. I had to give up for whatever. I had to totally give up, lay in bed, suffer until Jesus stopped the cramping. And the second thing is I had to work that day. So I had to slowly stretch it out over the period of 2 or 3 days, try to get it better. And while this was happening over the next 2 or 3 days, let me share with you what Jesus was teaching me. I've never heard Jesus speak verbally to me. I never heard him with my ears. I heard him in my mind and in my heart and soul teaching me that he's using these leg cramps to humble us, to humble you, Garrett, to humble my church, and to crush your pride. So I go through this terrible leg cramp, the worst one I ever had. The next day, a Christian sister contacted me on the internet. This was the very first time. I never heard from her before. And we talked about many things, but she brought up leg cramps, how she's getting leg cramps and what are they and what is this about? And that was a shocking confirmation that this is, generally speaking, this is happening because of our pride, among other reasons also that God could potentially have. Let me tell you a story. This is a tiny bit X-rated. I'll watch my language very carefully, so please brace yourself. When I was much younger, I knew nothing about God, nothing about his son Jesus. And there were multiple times, here's the X-rated part, get ready. There were multiple times when I was about to have sex with a woman and I would get a terrible leg cramp in my calf. And this didn't happen one time. This happened so many times. You see, the Lord has been working on our pride our entire life. Even when you don't know about it, he's working on your pride. Even when you can't see it, when you can't feel it, when you can't acknowledge it, when you're not learning about it yet, he's still working on your pride. He's still humbling us. I wanted to give this important information to you. Can a leg cramp be a physical problem? Yes, of course it can. But isn't God sovereign over everything, including our bodies? Isn't God sovereign over any medical issues we have? Isn't he sovereign over our muscles and when they cramp up? Of course he is. Try to see the bigger picture. I promise you this. Jesus made it clear to me. The number one reason why we're having leg cramps is because of our pride. I have not had another leg cramp since that terrible episode. I'm working on humbling myself more, and even that is 100% grace. We cannot humble ourselves more without God's grace. It's impossible. Okay, I wanted to share this important information with you that these things are about pride and crushing our pride and pushing us to humble ourselves. Just think about it. I'm sitting there naked, about to have sex with a woman, and my leg starts cramping up in terrible pain. Isn't that embarrassing? Doesn't that just crush your pride if you're a man? Of course it does. It's about pride. All right, let's work on humbling ourselves more. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying this is simple. I'm not even saying you can do it. But with God's grace, with His help, with His mercy, with His protection, with His blessings, we can try to humble ourselves more. Let's give it a try.